the OMA exchange. So SGFP is part of that so far, but other areas are being launched into it. So in the new year, we'll let you know. It won't be
I will
like.
not be watching myself.
Bless you.
One more comment.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, Brian. I'm just realizing I got some of that light in my
Oh, and also just a couple
frame.
things.
Yes.
Tips that I've learned from you.
Yes, sorry. So, my job.
Yes,
so
sorry.
just a couple of tips when we're talking about any subject is, for one, we don't want to go over 10 minutes at any point.
Okay.
So if we get to a point that we feel like we hear like a nice ending to a piece, we might just be like, okay, thanks, and then we'll stop and start because
Okay.
for editing purposes, it makes it easier on us.
Okay.
If she asks a question,
Yeah.
say the question out loud and then answer it. For example, if I looked at you and I was like, "What'd you have for breakfast?" You wouldn't be like, "Eggs," because then in the video I'm like, "Well, I don't know what that means." But if it's like, "Oh, this morning for breakfast I had eggs."
So just try to.
Okay.
It feels like a slightly unnatural way of responding, but you start your answer with the question.
Think
so
about it
like-
when you're stalling. You know how like if someone asks you a question you don't know, you're like, "How do you get to Toronto from Hamilton?" You're like, "How do you get to Toronto from Hamilton?" Like it's always like you're asking the question
Right.
yourself. Like ask it to yourself
Very
and then
interesting.
answer.
For example, like-
So, as physicians, we just give a pause and stare at our trainees for a while. And we say, that is an excellent
I can't
question.
We're ready to go.
Okay, so you can just introduce yourself to
Hi.
me.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay. Yeah.
So, my name is Lynn Lee. I'm a neonatologist practicing in Toronto.
Okay, so we'll start off by talking about what you think makes a good leader, or what qualities do you look for in a leader?
I think that when you're looking for qualities to make a really good leader, some of the things that come to mind are really that this individual is trustworthy, it has a deep respect for others, but also is someone who garners a lot of respect in the way that they communicate, behave, initiate, and really to try to encourage their staff members or their team to do the best or be the best that they can be. This is someone who is really looking at opportunities, really encouraging the team, engaging the team from the ground up in any of the decisions, but also being able to be confident enough in their abilities to at least recognize when they actually need to make that final decision.
So we're actually gonna stop and start. We're just
Okay.
gonna get
Yeah.
So-
You want to start with introducing myself?
Yeah, so what qualities do you look for in a good leader?
So the qualities that I value in a good leader is someone who really is very trustworthy, has a deep respect for their team members, but also is one who garners a lot of respect, who engages the team in decision making, but is confident enough to make the final decision, who really just encourages staff and team members to reach their potential and removes any barriers in the way.
I find sometimes when people give the second answer, it's even more concise and great. So that was perfect. Why do you feel it's important for physicians to have leadership training?
I think that physicians are natural leaders, but I think also as stewards of the healthcare system, it's very important for them to be able to gain all the abilities and skills that will be required, not just currently within their practice, but really in the future as we move towards revamping healthcare, really looking at what skills are required for them. And although they have an innate ability to lead, they may not necessarily have the appropriate skills coming through medical school. It is a very different set of leadership skills that are required outside of just within the bedside clinical care. And so this is important for physicians definitely to take a look and to actually gain additional skills that they can put in their toolbox to help them to address the issues at a systems level and know how to engage people at all different levels so that they can participate in the decision making but also help to lead change.
Great. Why does the healthcare system need physicians? Why does the system, especially now, need physicians in leadership positions?
I think we're coming to a point now where we have increasing populations of patients who are much more complex, who require much more care. that requires a lot more coordination of care with not just within medicine, but beyond out to the community. And so it is important for physicians to know how to not only navigate that, but able to lead it successfully, recognizing that this is a system that is not only complicated, but very complex. So any additional skills would certainly benefit for the healthcare system. And we also recognize too that with the current constraints around healthcare, and that it is important that we really need to look at opportunities to improve efficiency through the program, but it also at the same time not compromise patient care.
All right, I'm just gonna stop right there for a
That was
second.
It's not a natural way of responding, but.
So the most impactful things that I learned from leadership skills training were actually two things. One, highlighting the importance of communication and building relationships, and taking the time to do that well. Whether it is through email, but from a personal perspective, just picking up the phone and speaking with colleagues and others who are engaged in whatever the goal is, so that everyone knows what the goal is, but also that you have an opportunity to hear from everyone. And secondly, really getting one of the
You can start again.
the
All right.
Yeah,
You had a good end
okay,
point.
hold on one second. Do you guys hear that? There's like a weird radio voice or something.
I heard the second thing. I think it's. I don't think
I think
we're
it's
gonna.
all right
that
now.
whole
I think we're
thing
okay.
again.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think that whole thing again, no.
No. Just
Okay.
it was just that 1 second. You were
I know,
just-
I heard
just,
it
I was
too. I
hoping
was
it was
like-
gone before we
Might have
kept
been somebody
going.
on a speakerphone in another room that we're
Yeah,
hearing.
I think that is.
That's okay. You won't suddenly pick. Oh, are you? You good?
I'll just give us 1 sec.
Sorry.
Okay.
You can start with the second thing as.
So the second skill, which I learned through leadership training, was really the introduction to liberating structures. So really ways to engage the frontline team in one, identifying the problem, but also finding the solution and moving towards a solution, and really engaging them to continue with not only just completing the project, addressing the issue, but really maintaining the momentum so that it is sustained, so that change is sustained at the front line.
Okay. What do you think is a good entry point for someone who's new to leadership?
So I would say that leadership there's many opportunities through a physician's career for them to engage in leadership, and it doesn't need to be at sort of big projects. And if anything, I would really encourage physicians to take smaller projects which are achievable, so that they can actually really practice some of the skills of being a leader, and really just trying to fine tune it and figure out which one of the skills works best for them within their setting. And also that physicians are engaging in a project and a goal that is meaningful to them, because being a leader at times can be quite lonely, and you may not be necessarily the most popular person on the team, but it is important, and so that gives you certainly the extra confidence if you are motivated by the goal.
So that leads us into our next question. How can physicians handle the additional stress that comes from taking on these additional roles and responsibilities?
So I think that physicians who are certainly in leadership roles, it is a stressful role. And sometimes it is a very hard role to be at the front or behind the team as you're trying to engage them. So there are really two things. One, making sure that you have a kitchen cabinet, I guess, of people that you feel safe speaking to within your organization, maybe your colleagues, whether it's a friend, so that you can actually go and just not necessarily expect them to find a solution, but at least be able to talk about some of the challenges that you've had. It would be ideal also that some of the individuals are people who would not necessarily agree with you, that they are able to speak their mind and really trying to help you grow as a leader, to say, have you thought about it in a different way? Because it's really not very helpful if everyone agrees with you. There's not a lot of growth in your own potential as a leader. And secondly, really trying to maintain that work sort of personal relationship, work-private life balance. Really finding something that you are, helps you kind of sort of center yourself outside of work, so that you are able to really focus when you are at work.
Do do you want to take a break there? Is that-
That's great.
Sometimes, I mean, maybe that's even interesting is sometimes people end up in leadership roles because of
Birth order.
circumstances that are beyond, I
Uh,
don't know. There are a lot of
You know, I
different
think-
leadership paths.
I don't know that they're, I think that
Sorry, just 1 second. I got reflections of Mikey walking in the background.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
He's like right there. In the window.
Are we ready to roll here?
Action.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Rolling.
maybe you want to talk about your leadership path. We can even.
Well, I don't know that the leadership path is direct. You don't come out of medicine thinking that you're going to be leading any large groups. I think you are trained in medicine to become an excellent clinician, and part of that is really leading your healthcare team at the bedside. But there is a role for physicians outside of just frontline healthcare, and that is really to improve the system. And so as you work with families and patients, you recognize that there are gaps in the healthcare system, and there are gaps and opportunities really to improve what we currently do. And that becomes sort of a natural way to lead and to ask to ask the question, to challenge what is the current status or current culture within the organization. But then if you ask the question and you challenge the current status, then you need to be willing to step up to help lead the change. And so I think that's really where, for many physicians, part of your training is to inquire, to question what things are, what is the symptoms or what the diagnosis is. And so this is just a natural way of continuing on with that current path of leading or inquiring to move towards being a leader. So that's really how I ended up, really kind of falling into or assuming a leadership position within my organization. It's just really starting to recognize that there are ways of improving the current system and what my role would be within that.
Great. Was there anything else you wanted to mention, or anything else you'd like people to know? If you could impart any advice.
I think one of the most important things to learn as a leader is, as part of that, the continuation of that building relationships, is really taking the time to get to know individuals on a personal level. It makes the conversation so much more natural, so much more less politically driven, and it really helps for in the conversation, the difficult conversations that you actually see each other as human beings with lives, and it makes such a difference.
Excellent. Okay.
You might want to ask, just because of her specific role, what specifically can specialists do?
Yeah, we were talking about that a little
Yeah.
bit.
Or maybe
but
there
it's-
isn't much to it.
Yeah, because it doesn't necessarily change the larger community aspect. Because I was wondering about whether it's within a hospital as well.
I
Do you
think
have
it
any
also
thoughts
makes it, certainly working within the larger the organization, the more you need to be attuned to the complexity and the complicated relationships of, that are within an organization. And just being mindful of that, you need to, if anything, spend a little bit more time on your communication, building relationships. But that you can also certainly say that within the community.
Mm-hmm.
Good
That was
stuff.
good too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were trying. So I think that's good.
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah.